This episode is brought to you by Yung-Sidekick, an innovative, secure, and 100% HIPAA compliant AI solution designed for therapists. It cuts the time spent on progress notes by 10x, helping you stay more present during sessions while providing insightful analytics to elevate the quality of care. And you can get an exclusive 20% off your first purchase with promo code LISA20 at checkout at youngsidekick.com. That's young, Y-U-N-G sidekick.com, or just click the link in the show notes. Welcome to the Therapy Show. I'm Lisa Mustard, your host and guide on this journey of learning and professional growth. Here, we transform the way you earn continuing education contact hours. Whether you're on a walk, on a break in between sessions, commuting, or even preparing dinner, you can engage with cutting-edge insights from leading subject matter experts. Each episode features conversations with seasoned professionals who share effective techniques and tools tailored for busy therapists like you. Our goal is to enrich your practice and fit seamlessly into your active life, ensuring you stay informed and inspired without the hassle of traditional methods. You can say goodbye to sitting in front of a computer screen watching hours and hours of recorded trainings. Instead, we make continuing education as easy and accessible as your favorite podcast. So make sure to visit the website, lisamustard.com, to sign up for our continuing education membership. It's a fantastic way to earn your credits while enjoying the podcast. Join us on the Therapy Show, where your professional development continues wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Therapy Show. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. This episode is not a pod course. Just wanted to get that out there before we jump into today's topic. Today, I am talking with two different guests, two very different, insightful conversations I think will inspire you and inform you as therapists as you navigate your practice. First up, I sit down with Alexander Anastasin, the founder of Yung-Sidekick, a groundbreaking AI tool for mental health professionals. And Alex shares how his platform helps therapists streamline the daunting task of session note-taking, allowing more time to focus on client care and reduce admin burnout. I can get on board with that. So we're going to dive deep into how AI can assist in progress notes, treatment plans, and analytics while ensuring privacy and compliance in our field. In the second half of this episode, I am joined by Dr. Moreen Rubin, a psychologist and group practice owner in LA. And Dr. Rubin shares her experiences with AI note-taking, how it has transformed her practice, and offers valuable insights on overcoming initial skepticism around technology and therapy, which, by the way, is me. She also discusses how her team is benefiting from tools like Yung-Sidekick and how it's improving their workflow while maintaining the human touch that is so essential in therapy. So stay tuned as we explore how AI is shaping the future of therapy and how it can save you time, reduce burnout, and improve your practice. Okay, now on to my first guest, Alexander Anastasin. Welcome back to another episode of the Therapy Show, and I'm so excited for you all to meet Alexander Anastasin. Welcome to the show, Alex. It is so awesome to have you.
Hi, Lisa. It's so great to be here.
Yes, I can't wait for everybody to learn about you and about your company. So your company is called Yung-Sidekick, but what is it? What does it do? And how does it help therapists?
Okay, so long story short, we are a team of mental health geeks, and let's say psychotherapy has changed our lives in many ways. So when we decided to actually start a mental health tech startup, we tried to figure out what would be the best way to name it and pay tribute, let's say, to the masters at the same time. So, I'm still it's been 5 years now that I'm in Freudian psychoanalytic therapy myself. So again, I grew up reading Freud, I grew up reading Jung and Carl Jung, and we actually checked for the available domain names, and we found some projects that were, let's say, playing with Zygmunt or Zygmunt.online. So we figured out, this is taken, but Jung was available. So yeah, this is where the name comes from. So it actually is paying tribute to Carl Jung.
That's so cool. I had a hunch when I started, when you sent me the email and I was looking at the name and I was like, I wonder if this has to do with Carl Jung. I thought that was really cool, really, really special. So what is Yung-Sidekick or Yung-Sidekick? What is it and what does it do?
Well, as of now, Yung-Sidekick is an AI assistant for mental health professionals. And what it does right now, first of all, it automates session notes. So when you're having a session, an online session or offline session, you just use our platform and it will save you enormous amounts of time on your notes because we automate progress notes. So when your session is over, we generate notes for you automatically in less just than 1 minute. So we use AI technology that analyzes the session. So you can record the session with us. And when the session is over, we will generate the transcript. And from this transcript, our AI will generate progress notes, treatment plans, templates, patient analytics, and well, many other insightful reports. Very cool. Saves literally, it literally turns hours of note taking into just minutes.
Yeah.
But again, note taker is just the beginning. We are building a provider patient platform as our next move. So yeah, but this is what we do right now.
Very cool. And I just want to share that the bane of existence for many therapists is having to write notes. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I mean, I get it. I know writing notes is it just for some reason it's just the last thing you want to be doing after you're sitting with a client for 50 minutes is now I need to recall everything that was just said and write this note maybe for insurance purposes too, because of course some therapists do take insurance, some don't, but you're writing it for insurance and then you got to put it in a proper format. You have to look at your treatment plan, you have to look at all of these things, and then you have to upload it into your EHR if you use one. Most people do nowadays. So I get it. It's going to save probably, how much time would you say that it saves therapists?
Well, on average, we asked our users like, how much time do they spend on note taking. I would say that it saves from 5 to 10 hours monthly on note taking. Well, because some people are very proficient with their notes and like they only spend, let's say, from 6 to 8 minutes on one note. Some spend more time. Intakes, some people may take up to 40 minutes, right? So all this time combined, and well, we definitely got it. It's safe to say that we cut down note time spent on notes like 90%. So this would be universal.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. So how does Yung-Sidekick make sure that the notes are accurate and maintain like the essence of what's going on in the clinical session?
Yeah, this is a great question. So we know, of course, that clinical notes are much more than just transcriptions, and the cost of mistake could be potentially high for everyone involved. So we build a model that ensures consistency in note formats and accuracy by actually checking itself multiple times before showing the end results to the user.
Okay.
We've also got a great clinical advisory board that actually helps us to stay on track, making sure our notes follow the, let's say, the golden thread, like the right therapeutic guidelines. So they stay basically compliant. So in case of an audit, we make sure that they are 100% safe.
Gotcha.
And the third thing, I guess, is the constant feedback, right? So we've built a constant feedback loop from therapists using the product. And every update we roll out is based on their real world feedback. So the AI that we use, our model that we use, gets smarter and more accurate with time. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I get what you're saying. Okay. How do you ensure privacy with Yung-Sidekick?
The landscape has changed significantly over the past 12 months.
Yeah.
Still, privacy and data protection is something that the majority of therapists that we talk to are like hesitant about and skeptical. So the first thing to say here is that, of course, we're HIPAA compliant. In order to be a US startup and to be a company integrated into the healthcare system, it's absolutely necessary to have your certification. And so we essentially follow all the HIPAA guidelines. And when we record the session, because again, this is like the most straightforward way to capture the session. When we record the session, well, we do not store recording. The recording is used only for a minute or two just to create the transcript and the reports. After this is done, the recording is immediately deleted from all of our servers. All the notes that we generate are derived of OPHI, so there are no client names, there are no locations, so nothing that can actually de-anonymize an individual or that can actually pinpoint to a like really existing person. And these are the measures that we undertake to stay safe. And well, of course, with all the technology providers that we use, we have business associate agreements that are essential to HIPAA compliance in place.
Sure.
So yeah, we take this very seriously.
That's great. Okay, that's really important to know. And I think that lots of therapists out there are going, okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the biggest fears is the information getting out there, slipping through the cracks, somebody being identified, their information being put out there. Another thing that some therapists are concerned about, and I know you and I spoke about this before we agreed to talk with you guys and have you as a sponsor, was what are you listening for any information or themes that you then kind of, I don't know what the word is, would then like, is conglomerate the word? And then you take that information and then you give it to a different, like a third party. Are you taking information that the themes that you're hearing or anything like that the patient or client is giving to the therapist, and then your technology, are they then taking that or stripping that and then taking it and doing anything with it? Because we live in a world where people are super skeptical of that kind of thing going on with AI right now.
Yeah, sure. Well, short answer is no. We, of course, we don't do anything like that. So, well, we do not transfer this information in any sort to like any third party organization. The only thing that we do is that we, of course, we do at the same time we do analyze anonymized data, but we do that only in order to provide, let's say, analytics for the therapist that is working with us. So
Sure.
if you are our client, we will be, this is the beauty that AI brings to the table.
Yeah.
Actually, it can connect the dots and it can analyze vast amounts of information that would otherwise that a human can miss, or that otherwise would take, I don't know, days or like weeks to find, right? So this is what we do, but we do it only for the sake of and for the benefit of the therapist.
Yes.
The only way
Okay.
that we
Yeah.
do the.
So is it, I mean, could you say that is like the next step for Yung-Sidekick, is to be able to offer that to the therapist and to the client? Analysis of change or growth?
Yeah, well, I would say that I see three big trends that are shaping the future of therapy with AI right now. So first one is that therapy is going to be way more data-centric than it is now, and way more personalized. So, and it's two of them, and the third is that it's going to drastically cut down on this administrative work. So, like I just said, AI can analyze massive amounts of data instantly, seeing connections, trends, and I would say that I see AI becoming a real partner in therapy, not just helping with notes, but streamlining other aspects of the professional workflow, assessments, analyzing patient progress, supporting therapists during sessions, and even helping patients in between sessions. And we are actually already doing that. So we are moving from just being an AI note taker to a platform that addresses supervision, risk management, giving therapists and supervisors better tools to track client progress, to communicate more effectively. And yeah, I would say that now industry is at its turning point, and because AI really can solve so many problems for therapists, and not only therapists, but for their clients and for even insurance providers. So our ultimate goal is to I would say, build a platform that doesn't just make mental health care more efficient and accessible, but also that helps therapists make more money by freeing them up from administrative burdens and letting them focus on what they really love, helping people. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's the question.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you answered like that. I mean, that was really cool to hear, because I think we're so caught up in our work and seeing our clients and getting our notes done and getting referrals and marketing ourselves that when something like this pops up, it's almost like, wait, how is this going to disrupt our industry? How is it? And that's scary, for we've been doing it this way for a long time. Change is difficult. There's some mistrust around AI and what are the intentions and what are the goals of it. I mean, gosh, we could go down that rabbit hole of scary stuff that people want to put out there. But I love how you shared that the value of what we do as therapists, this is only going to help us be better at our careers, so in our job. So I think it's really exciting. I think it's nerve-wracking too, because it's new and it's hard to adjust to new things, but we can do hard things, right? Therapists, we can do it. So I know that you guys have offered my listeners a great promotion so they can get 20% off their first purchase with the
Sure.
code Lisa20, and we'll put the link in the show notes for you guys to go and check out Yung-Sidekick. Is there anything else that you think is important for our listeners to know about Yung-Sidekick?
Well, maybe that beyond all the skepticism and all the fear that is totally understandable, I really think that the best way to look at the emerging AI companies like us is that it's better to perceive them not as a competitor, because honestly, I can't see anything happening technologically, anything happening in technology over the next, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years that could potentially replace the actual human connection.
Yeah.
That is the biggest, if not the biggest part of the therapeutic process, right? So AI is not there to replace the therapist, but to do the heavy lifting.
Mhm.
And like I said, so it really helps to look at it as technology that can significantly augment the therapeutic process and the workflow, and really, I'm just thinking of the right words, remove everything that was, because I believe that, well, therapists, the majority of them, they come to the profession because they want to help people, right? And when you're doing that, like the administrative tax, the administrative burden can, well, build up. And even, and this is a true story, one of our first clients, we met when she was, let's say, ready she was burned out, and she was ready to give up her practice and just, well, I don't know, open up a range or something like that.
Right.
And by her own words, our tool was the biggest agent of change in her practice, because she just literally freed so many time in her life, and she just literally stopped doing what she hated, and she just hated doing notes. So this is the beauty of the technology. And the last things that I really want people to understand, that, well, this can augment your life in a beautiful way. You will forget about the tasks that you hate, and you will just be doing what you really love, helping people, doing therapy, and not notes. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, I'm excited to test it out and to hear more. I know I'm going to be talking to Dr. Moreen Rubin, who is she who you were talking about when you said somebody, or is that somebody else?
no, it was somebody else, but Maureen
Okay.
also one of our first clients. So she's been awesome and very
Yeah.
helpful over the past 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. So I'll be talking to her more of a kind of the day-to-day use of as a therapist, how she uses it in her practice. And she has a group practice, and I think her therapists all use it, and how it's just freeing up their time, and it's good for the patient and for the client. They're getting great feedback, and it sounds like it just helps make it more efficient, all the things. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. This has just been amazing. And if you guys want to learn more about Yung-Sidekick and get the discount, just click the link in the show notes and apply the code Lisa20 at checkout. So thanks, Alex, for being here. This is awesome.
Thank you, Lisa, for inviting me.
You're welcome. I am so excited to welcome Dr. Moreen Rubin. Welcome to the show. It's awesome to have you.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So, can you share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do and how you help?
Sure. So I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist, and I run a group practice out in California. We have a team of over 10 mental health specialists, and we also have group therapy, and we specialize in treating primarily eating disorders, but also we do a lot of trauma recovery, couples counseling, anxiety, depression. We basically are full service because we have so many therapists on the team that we can pretty much help anyone with whatever is bringing them to counseling.
Very cool. And where are you located in California?
We're in the greater Los Angeles area, but we're entirely virtual. And so really anyone in the state of California can work with us.
Well, it's really great to have you. And today's conversation is going to center around AI note taking. And I was sharing with Maureen before we started that I was very skeptical and very hesitant to even dip my toe in the AI note taking world, just because I'm a little old school. I am Gen X. I don't know if that has something to do with it. But once I started to learn about it and research it, I'm just fascinated by what it is and where it's going. So how did you first discover it, or how did it come into play for your practice?
Yeah. That's a good question. So as a human, I tend to be very curious, and I have a particular interest in like technology and how to incorporate it in making life a little bit more efficient. And so prior to AI with note taking, I was actually exploring doing treatment with virtual reality glasses. So some people who are like afraid of flying or afraid of driving, part of the way that you treat them therapeutically is you get them in a car or you get them in an airplane to kind of feel their feelings and then learn to tolerate those feelings. And so virtual reality glasses was my first kind of foot in the door in terms of like incorporating technology and trying to use that to enhance the therapeutic experience. And then somewhere along that line, I stumbled across AI for note taking. And I was not hesitant to try it, only because I did a lot of research about it, and it's HIPAA compliant and, data privacy. They have a lot of security settings around that to ensure privacy. And so I felt like in terms of, patient safety or clinical practice and ethical safety, I felt like those things were strongly taken into consideration. And then once that was removed, then it was just a matter of how does this actually improve the quality of my therapy, the quality of my practice, my, general satisfaction with my job. And so I was kind of interested to play around with it. And after the first session, I was obsessed.
Right.
Yeah, So I think that the thing that when people are hesitant to use it, I think that there are some really good reasons, some really good considerations to think about. Like data privacy, like security, like wanting to have control over what gets documented and what doesn't, like wanting the notes to reflect whatever it is that you believe belongs in those notes, whether from a legal perspective or from just your own clinical style of what you want to remember and what you want to track and document. And so I think that there's a lot of really valid reasons to be hesitant around it. And then my experience has been, especially with introducing it to the therapists in my group, that one by one, those obstacles get eliminated once a therapist starts to have a relationship with the program and starts to use it. Because I don't think that it's necessarily scary, or that AI, a lot of therapists have concerns that AI will replace the human heart in therapy. But I think what it does is, using this software, if I had to summarize it, and then we could end the podcast after this, but what I'll say is it frees up your mind to be able to focus on what matters most. which is the client's emotional world. And you no longer have to worry about documentation, remembering this specific quote or this specific sequence of events, or remembering what happened in previous sessions. It's so thoughtful in the way that it organizes the notes, the way that it offers pathways for future therapy sessions, the way that it organizes the psychological profile of the client. It's so thoughtful that I think it really allows you the therapist, to trust in the system to do its job so that you can focus on yours. And so I see it as this beautiful partnership.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I'm starting to get a sense for that as well. Like the more I look at it, the more I do the research and talk to people, especially other therapists that are using it, who have gone through, the same process as me, where I am in it. It's very exciting actually to know that the way you framed it so well, that it allows us to focus on the emotional experience of our client. That's beautiful, because that's what we're here for. I mean, that's what our job is. So I love that you are able to put that into words so well. So when you first started it, did any of your patients or clients, were they hesitant, or what was that like when you first brought it up to them?
I would say let's just take a random number, out of 100 clients, I had one who had concerns about it. Most did not have any concerns. They did not ask any questions or raise any concerns. And of course, when we provide informed consent, we let them know about the safety features and all, and what the purpose of this is. And they all sign waivers and consents, and informed consent. But no, I didn't have any issues. And for the 1 out of 100 clients that would say, oh, I'd really prefer you didn't, then you just do their note the way you always have.
Sure. So, but imagine freeing yourself up. If you only had one client a week that wasn't down with it, how much time that frees up. So how much time would you say it has freed up for you in your practice?
Well, I think you can actually calculate that. So if you think about how many minutes it takes you to write a note, and now I have a lot to say. So I would say that for me, a note would take, maybe if I'm typing really fast, 10 to 15 minutes, right? So there's a process of thinking about what I want to include, then the actual typing of it, and then going back and editing it, right? And making sure that it has what it needs. And so let's say per note, it's 15 minutes. And let's say I saw 5 clients that day, right? The AI generates a note in less than 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I don't have to do anything other than have my session. Right. So for me, there's no additional time outside of the session that is required. My work is done. As soon as the session is over, my work is done. The AI then takes about 2 minutes to generate a note, and it offers so many different, this particular software program offers so many different variations of the type of note that it can generate, right? It can do a SOAP note, a DAP note, a simple progress note, a therapist report. I even saw, group note, whatever. There's just so many different variations of note styles. And then it takes about 2 minutes for it to generate the note. And then all I do is hit copy and I paste it into whatever EMR I'm using. And I use Simple Practice. I like that EMR. So I just copy and paste it into Simple Practice.
Gotcha. So easy. So easy.
It's so easy. And I have those 15 minutes back. And if I have 15 minutes back for the 5 clients that I saw that day, that time adds up.
Right. Yeah. You can go outside, get some fresh air, grab a bite to eat. I mean, can't do but so much in 15 minutes, but you can get something done in 15 minutes that you can't get done in like 3 minutes in between clients. So yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Okay.
And I think that, you know how they say that in every job, like I love being a therapist. I don't think I would do anything else, but every job has its hard spot, right? For every job, there's like the parts that you love and then the parts that you don't love so much. And so many of my friends are therapists, and I myself have had this experience where it's like the documentation part, it's just like the hardest part. Right. Even when we're working with clients that are really struggling or really severely affected by their mental health, that that still is my favorite part of the job. But the note-taking and the documentation, that part I think is, for most therapists, their least favorite part. And so to have the ability to sort of outsource this and make it somebody else's, well, not that it's a human, but make it somebody else's responsibility, and the quality is not affected, right? I would even say the quality is sometimes better than what a human being might generate. And the quality is not affected. It's completely safe, and privacy is taken into consideration, and it's HIPAA compliant, and it analyzes and captures things that I know occurred in the session, but not 100% of the time would my notes reflect that, depending on where I am in my day.
Sure.
So if I have a stressful day and I have a lot going on, my note might look different than if I had an hour to write my note. And so that variability gets eliminated, and my notes are always excellent quality, and they're always done without me having to put in any additional effort. So for me, that's a no-brainer.
Right. Oh yeah. Yes. I can get on board with that. I think that's really important because so much happens in a session, and then afterwards you're just relying on, okay, what did we talk about? And I'm the kind of person, I don't necessarily like to write things down when I'm in a session. I just try to go from remembering what we talked about. And sometimes that's not the best way to go, but that's just how I do it. And this is really helpful because I imagine it's listening. It's going to catch those things that I might not recall if, like you said, you've had a stressful day, or you have a lot on your mind, or you're trying to get to the next thing and you're just trying to get through it. Is this something that you offer to those therapists in your group practice? Were
Yes.
they on board with it pretty quick?
I call it a perk. Okay. So it's a perk of working at Joyful Therapy Group, where we offer this to the therapists. And the way that it works is that you pay per minute. So if I have a 50-minute session, I'll need 50 minutes of recording. And so I pay per minute. I pay 4 minutes, maybe not per minute, but I pay for like a package of minutes. Okay. And then I use those minutes until I run out, and then I buy more minutes. And so what I do is, in the group, is that we buy a lot of minutes for our therapists, and every single one, with the exception of one therapist on the team, loves it and uses it, and just feels like they really feel that is a reward and a perk of working at Joyful Therapy Group. And the one therapist who's like, I don't know, for her, writing the note is a way that she processes and metabolizes and prepares for her next session. It's the way that she works. It's the way that she works with clients, and the note writing experience for her is how she digests the information. I don't necessarily, and I don't think the majority of therapists need that in order to be able to make sense of the session. But and then also there's just a preference around not being reliant on technology, and she likes writing her notes. And so it's not for 100% of therapists, but it's certainly for 99% of therapists in my group.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've been going back and forth on that too. Kind of, what do I prefer? What's my preference versus what's going to save me time and energy, as well as, there's always that burnout factor.
Yes.
That if it can save me time and energy and keep me energized for the day and for my next client, then I'm probably going to give it a try. I'm probably going to give it a try just to see if I like it. And so you are definitely convincing me that this is something I need to do.
Well, I offer a lot of supervision to newer therapists. And one of the things that all supervisors talk about, which I'm sure you're aware of, is the type of work that we do leads to burnout. And that's not taking into consideration the administrative tasks of the job, right? The administrative tasks also cause burnout. And the majority of therapists are behind on their notes because they're trying to protect themselves from burnout, or they just don't have the bandwidth or the energetic capacity to give to both. Right. And so they choose to give to their clients, which is the correct move. But what that means is that the administrative tasks get left behind, and that creates stress and anxiety and overwhelm. And so these types of AI tools, specifically this one, because I've tried other ones. Okay. So I'm not particularly a loyalist. I will go to wherever I think is best serving me and the team. And I've tried a bunch of different platforms. This is my favorite one. And I'm going to say that until it's no longer my favorite, which I hope that never happens, but I particularly love Yung. I love the note. I love the way that it summarizes things. I love the accuracy of it. I love how it listens for potential pathways for where to take future work with this client, how it listens for interventions that I've used that elicit resistance, how it develops a psychological profile of the client that is constantly evolving as more and more data gets put into the system regarding this particular client. I mean, the things that they've thought of are just mind-blowing. It's incredible. But I think that it's going back to the sort of a circuitous way, but going back to the burnout, I think that it's our jobs as therapists to look out for one another. And if there's some way that I have helped myself give more to my clients, be less burnt out, and enjoy my day a little bit more because I've taken something off my plate without the quality of my work being infected, and in fact, maybe even improved, I think that it's our responsibility to share that with other therapists because our job is to help others. And if all therapists in the world could do a better job of that, I think the world would be a much better place. And this is just one way to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love how you put that. I agree. I mean, I think we all try to be of help to one another and of service in any way that we feel that we can. And if this is something that you've noticed is just so wonderful and so beneficial, I'm grateful that you're, shouting it from the mountaintop. So thank you for your experience with Yung. Do you call it Yung-Sidekick or Yung, or how do you refer to it?
I don't know. I don't know how I refer to it as Yung, but maybe it's Yung-Sidekick, and that's the correct way to say it. I'm on a first name basis. I go with Yung.
Sure. We'll just refer to him as Yung. Yeah. Y'all go way back. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rubin, for coming onto the show and sharing your experiences. I'm excited to, the future of where this is going to take us. And I mean, gosh, I'm sure our brains can go down a lot of different, the word pathways come to mind about where AI is going and how it's going to benefit our field as well as help more people. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
I would say there's no harm in trying it. And so if you try it for yourself and you have your own experience with it, I would encourage therapists to make their own decision on what works for them. And I think the invitation is to try it. Yeah. I'm not sure if, when I first tried it, I think they offered some free trial or free. I don't know if that's still a thing, but if it is, I would encourage everyone to try it. Yeah, definitely. And I know that the Yung is offering 20% off to first-time purchasers with the code Lisa20. So if you guys want to try Yung-Sidekick, just click the link in the show notes. And when you're ready to purchase, just type in Lisa20 as your coupon code and you will get 20% off. I can't remember if there's actually, I feel like there's a free trial. When I was last on the site, I feel like you can get a free trial, but I don't know. If you guys go on there and you can't, don't be mad at me or us. But I do think, and try others too, because there's plenty of them out there that are going to give you a free trial. So go and test them all out and see which one you like best. I know that they're always looking for feedback to make it better. I love that about Alex and the mission and the vision of the company. So this has just been so helpful. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I really appreciate it. Oh, good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Please note that the Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice. Always consult with your therapist, doctor, or physician before implementing any suggestions from the show. The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard is edited and engineered by Chelsea Weaver. If you're looking to start a podcast or ready to take the editing off of your plate, be sure to visit chelseaweaverpodcasting.com. Well, that wraps up another episode of The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine. Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover all the pod courses and other continuing education offerings. And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.